Hello everybody, it's Kevin Campbell. I'm an ex-Arsenal striker, I hope you remember me. I'm here with my friend Lee Judges and we're going to be speaking all things Arsenal, so come and join us. For me, the first couple of games, Lee, it's been interesting to say the least, to see Reiss Nelson and Willock, Chambers get a start, especially at Newcastle for me. I think was really brave of Unai Emery. Obviously, we looked at the bench at the time and the bench was so strong. Getting a good win up at Newcastle, it was, for me, was a decent start. Wasn't a great performance, but I think that the star man was Aubameyang on the time. And the second game going to the Emirates and playing Burnley, which we know is always going to be a difficult game. You know, seeing Dani Ceballos the way he performed, I thought he was special on the day. We know Burnley will give us a little bit of problems, and I think we created some of our own problems on the day. But I thought 2-1 was quite flattering for them. We should have beat them a bit more. And obviously VAR came into it, cancelling one of a Reiss Nelson goal. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm on the same lines as you really. I thought we played, I think it was half decent, a result at Newcastle, away from home, never easy. So to get that result was good. The performances ain't been great, but at this stage of the season, it ain't about performances, it's about getting 6 points, and that's what we've done. And I think some real pluses. I'm going to say I weren't that happy when David Luiz signed for us. I'm going to be honest about it, but I'm going to say I was impressed with him on Saturday. You know, he bullied a centre forward. Well, I've seen many of centre forwards bullying our defenders over the years. I think he bullied Wood, if I'll be honest, and I like that. You know, as a fan, for the first time, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed his performance.
That physical nature.
Yeah.
We have lacked that.
I think so.
I believe we've got it a little bit in Socrates, but we need two centre-halves who could handle their strikers. And the way Burnley play is pretty direct.
Yeah, and I think I have to give Unai a bit of credit there, because I think he looked at the team. I think it was a little bit harsh on Chambers to be left out, if I'll be honest, because I thought he played well at Newcastle. But two guys up front, physical, so he went with the more physical side players. So horses for courses, as they say. I think that was a good move. And yeah, I was impressed. I don't know about everybody else, but from the fans' point of view, going into the ground on Saturday, there seemed a bit more optimism. It seemed like everybody wanted to be there instead of like, oh well, you know, it's another season. There seemed to be a little bit more like things could happen this season. Optimism. A little bit, yeah. I think that's a good word. Yeah.
There's a bit of optimism. I mean, I've been optimistic, seeing what's gone on in the transfer market, and obviously the sign of Nicolas Pepe, for me is a statement of intent. And you know, people talk about the payments are staged. So what? He's still buying him for 72 million quid. You still got to pay it.
Arsenal player now, don't matter.
That's right. And obviously he's not quite fit yet, but some of his touches.
Little glimpses, yeah. And that's what gets the crowd on their feet. You know, little glimpses of little bits of magic. He done that. You know, he's a long way off from being fit, but you know, he can only get better, can't he?
Very true. Very true. You know? And obviously there was a Dani Ceballos. Oh. He got a standing ovation. They've got a song about him as well. I mean, his feet are so quick, reminiscent of Santi Cazorla for me, the way he was manoeuvring that ball. Yeah,
I think he runs a bit funny, don't you think that he runs a little bit, like he looks a bit gangly, but when he gets on the ball, my God, it's stuck to him. And, you know, who could not have been impressed with that performance on Saturday, you know, to make your full debut and play like that, run the show, against the physical side. Yeah. You know, again, the pluses are that he's probably going to get better and better. But I like the way he controlled the game for me, like, you know, with his touches, passing. You know, from a fan's point of view, you know, bring it on.
Lee, can I ask you about Joe Willock? Because at Newcastle, I thought he had a decent game. He played the full 90 minutes plus on against Burnley. I like this kid. I think he's got a chance. I think he's really got a chance. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I like it. Look, as a fan growing up through Arsenal, it's always great to see the homegrown players coming through. Like, you know what I mean? We love them. Like, you know, there's always that special infinity for us fans. But what I was impressed with him is I felt that against Newcastle, it was a different role for him. you know, when we probably didn't have as much as the ball. But on this occasion, we was going to get more of the ball. And he played a slightly different, deeper role. And I was impressed with him, like, you know, a bit of versatility in there. And I was impressed with him, you know, and I love to see it. It's great to see, like, Willock, Nelson coming through as well, you know. And I think the fans will take to those sort of it. I think, you know, all right, VAR took its toll with recent, but everybody, you know, when everybody was buzzing around because they thought Nelson had scored.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so, you know, I'm impressed with him, and, you know, patience. He's had to be patient for his time. Went up to Blackburn at last season in the FA Cup, and he played really well, scored a cup, and people were saying, "Oh, he's not gonna make it. You know, he's not going to be this. He's not going to be that." He's proved a few people wrong, and I'm pleased.
And now we'll talk about the dynamic duo, Aubameyang and Lacazette, both at the Emirates, both scoring. What are your thoughts on them for this season? Because for me, I love the way they gel. They seem to have this connection. A lot of people talk about reminiscing like myself and Righty at times.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on them?
Yeah, it's good to see that, isn't it? Like, you know, you go back in the day with you and Righty, you had that little chemistry, you know, the celebrations, and, you know, those lovely little celebrations you two used to do and all that, like, you know. And but as a fan, you know, I was a little bit younger then. I enjoyed them little things.
Well, were you doing the dances, Lee?
Well, I've done about that, like, you know what I mean? I couldn't have your moves, you know what I mean? But it was good to see. And then you see these two, you know, come in, and they've got that chemistry, they've got that bond. They seem to like each other. Whether they can work, because you know, there's still that little thing of them whether they work together, because it meaning that
one has to play
wide and all that, like, you know. So if it's got the balance of the team, but come on, you know what I mean? The other teams fear them, you know what I mean? Chelsea would love one of them.
One, yeah.
You know, we've got two. So we've got the ammunition up front, I think now, and I really do hope that Reece Nelson continues to keep getting those games, but them two up front, playing alongside them, you know, there's going to be goals. It's going to be exciting time. I think it's going to be exciting.
Especially with a fit Pepe. I think when you add Pepe to that,
you know, and yeah, exactly, you know. And I'm also going to say Martinelli as well. He impressed me at Newcastle with his pace. If he can come on as well, getting games in Europa League and that, we've got a front 4, 5, 6 that's going to be exciting times at the Arsenal.
Fantastic. There's 5 things I've learned about Arsenal recently from pre-season, really, which started pretty slow. And then it started to take shape once the team got to America, and there was that, you know, "We Care Do You" campaign, and Josh Kroenke came out with, you know, "Be very excited." The first thing I've learned is the recruitment plan, because we were crying out saying, for once, this is going to be a time where we're going to know whether Arsenal are ambitious or not.
Yeah, definitely.
My take on it was the way they recruited, the way they brought players into positions that for years had been neglected, I thought was fantastic. We know they're working to a plan. I think Raul Sanllehi, who we call the Don now, him, Edu coming back to the club.
Because I can't say his name, so we're calling him the Don.
Call him the Don. Edu, Vinay and the guys, I think they're working to a recruitment plan that is actually trying to address things that have gone kind of south for 10 years. It won't happen in one window, we know that. But I just think it's such a positive the way they've done it. What's your thoughts on that, Lee?
Well, I think we've addressed every area that we needed to do. I say it was a good window. You know, I've got a little bit of stick because I didn't think it was great, because I felt maybe like, you know, Wilfried Zaha coming in on that would have been a great window after we sold Iwobi.
Yeah.
But we have addressed all those areas, and as fans, you have to. I think when you go to a game, you have to gauge what other supporters are saying as well. So when I went to the game on Saturday, going to the pub and that, every fan was saying what a great window it was. And buzzing for. So I'm now looking at myself and thinking, well,
what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
What's wrong with you?
So I think, well, maybe I've perhaps overreacted to it a little bit, you know. And so if everybody's happy about it, then I must be miserable.
You're miserable,
so
right?
That must be down to me. So it's a good window. I do think we've addressed it. I think, you know, we needed a wide player. We've got that. I think as we said about Danny Ceballos coming in, that's a replacement for Ramsey. Whether it's going to be a year or on more than that, who knows? But for a season, we've got a chance whether to look at it somebody else later on. But he looks to have improved us. It's definitely going to improve us when we've got the ball. I think Aaron's more of a player that would get on the end of goals and things like that.
He'd run beyond, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So now we've got someone that's going to keep the ball, and I think that's a good thing. And as I say, we left back we probably needed. I think my one disappointment, Kevin, I'll be honest, is that we're going in the season without a right back. That's my only, and that's probably where I've probably saying it's not.
I think you're right. I think that's a position that should have been rectified.
Yeah.
Because obviously Bellerin's he's got a bad injury. He's coming back now, but we don't know how long it's going to be.
Exactly. Don't know how he's going to be. That's my take on that. And with Ainsley, I feel that he should be given a chance in midfield. You know what I mean? I like what he's doing at right back. He's doing a job for us, but he's a young kid that's I think can do some damage for us in that midfield. That's my opinion.
Yeah, look, the Aubameyang goal at Newcastle was all down to Ainsley Maitland-Niles. So he's picking it up slowly but surely. But if we're serious, we should have gone and got a right back. I agree with you on that point, definitely. I agree with you on that point. Number two, for me, what I learned is the defence. The defence, bringing certain players in like your Tierney's, that will only really improve for me when Bellerin, Holding and Tierney are fit. Because then it looks to me like we're going to have a stronger unit. I believe there's a bit of toughness in there. I think signing David Luiz, although you might not have liked it at the time, I think he's going to prove to be a good signing as a leader. You think he started at Chelsea, he's captained the football at Chelsea Football Club. He wanted to come to Arsenal. That's the other thing that I loved. He actually wanted to come to Arsenal. Obviously he had a chat with Lampard. It come out that, Lampard was going young. First thing he done, probably got on the phone to his agent and said, listen, get me to Arsenal. Unai Emery's worked with him before, so he knows what to expect. And he's someone who, from the back, he can play the ball out with quality. So for me, I think he's going to be a really good addition.
I'm not going to argue that. He won me over after that tackle on Wood when he smashed into him, and then he smashed into him again. And I still think that our Achilles heel is our defence and our defending. I still, I got off the phone. I was on the train coming home to my dad because he watched the game. He turned around and said, "If only we had a defence, son, we'd be a great side." And I believe that. I really do believe if we'd have been a little bit more smarter in the recruitment, maybe we could have done that. But listen, as you say, David Luiz comes in for the first goal. It's not our top back four at the moment, and it just conceded a bit of a dodgy goal against Burnley. But as you say, hopefully we can improve on that.
Well, Lee, do you think, when you put Tierney in there and you get Bellerin back, do you think our defence is going to be a lot stronger? Because I think key is them full-back positions. I think the centre-halves are one thing, but the full-back positions, we tend to get done down the sides quite a bit. So if we are getting those guys in there, that should make us stronger, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I do like Hector Bellerin, I do like him, but I think the one weakness is his defence. He's great going forward. Yeah. I think he's fantastic going forward, but is he really a top defender in the right back area? I think that's the weakest part of his game. So is he going to improve us? I think he's going to improve us going forward a lot more. Tierney, I think everybody's saying he's a great player in Scotland and things like that. Listen, if they also say that he's as good as Andy Robertson. Yeah. If that's the case, then let's bring him on.
We've got a player,
We've got a player, So and I still think though, someone along that central defence alongside Luiz, Holding again, the same as Bellerin.
With the injury.
Is he going to come back good? Let's, fingers crossed that he does. But it's hopeful, Chambers maybe, but, again, he's still learning his trade. I'd like to see Chambers actually play a few games alongside Luiz, so you've got that bit of, he's played a lot.
Understanding, so they get that understanding together.
He played a few too many games under Mustafi, you know what I mean? Nothing against Mustafi, but mistakes were being made, someone that's going to tell him what to do and how to do it. That's my opinion.
Right, the third part for me is that midfield. I look at the midfield and I think when I look at them, both offensively and defensively, we need to improve because we give the ball away quite cheaply in that midfield, especially against Newcastle. We really gave it away cheaply. But obviously Torreira's just finding his feet. Caballas, looks like he's found his feet on Saturday. Obviously, there's Xhaka who didn't play, who I believe you sat beside in the
sat next to him, he's my new mate, so he's got to come back in the side.
Well, he's got a winning team as well, so it might be difficult for him. I just think, obviously, there's Willock as well. Willock's produced. There's Mesut Ozil to come back after, not being involved and being ill. So I think that's a key area for us to really tighten it up because whatever system we play, whether it's a 4-3-3, 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1, whatever, because we do know Unai Emery likes to be flexible.
Yeah.
It's about getting the right balance in there for me. And I don't think we have the right balance at times.
I'll ask you a question then, what would be your three? We're going to Liverpool next week.
My three would be Torreira, Xhaka, and Caballas. That would be my three.
A little bit harsh on Willock.
A little bit harsh, but it is one of those games where we can't afford to mess around. And I think we're going to need somebody who's a bit more creative than Willock. We are going to need someone. So that's why I play Caballas just in front of Xhaka and Torreira and say, you two screen that back four. We don't want Firmino coming off and picking that ball up and turning. So one of you've got to make sure you attach yourself to him. But when we get it, we got to get that ball to Caballas, and he's got to be the producer of the passes to the front boys.
Yeah, so I'm agree with that. But even though I'm friends with Xhaka now, you know what I mean. I just feel like that Willock just gives us a little bit more energy.
Yeah.
Like box to box, side to side. Maybe go down that route. But I wouldn't argue with that midfield. I think we've got to look at teams, particularly away from home, and change. I said it on an interview the other day. I think we're and funny enough, Granit Xhaka said that as well. He said, look, we're one team at home, we're this way. We've got to improve away from home. And I think that is with a different system or something like that. Might be a little bit more rigid in that midfield. Yeah, exactly.
Number 4, what I've learned is now that Pepe is there, Caballas is there, is our front attack. I think we have the flexibility to cause teams a lot of problems. I think now that where we're going to play Aubameyang, where we're going to play Lacazette at times, is Caballas going to be the number 10? Is Ozil going to be the number 10? When Pepe's fit, how are we going to use him? Because there might be times where we could play him in behind Lacazette and Aubameyang. Do you imagine how frightening that'll be with him picking the ball up in the hole and turning and running at teams? So I just think the flexibility now that we have to be able to cause mismatches to opposition, I think is at an all-time high.
Yeah, that's exciting for me as a fact. It's exciting now to see. What I want to see is like in the old days of Arsenal, is like bring them on and then hit them on the break. You know what I mean? Like there was times when Arsenal in their great days of the title-winning teams, that teams were scared to even have corners against us because we'd score from the corner. Yeah. And I think that's gone out of our game. It's gone out of our game. So, like teams like Liverpool, I think Liverpool, would have to say to us, right, we have to be a little bit cautious against Arsenal now because, we can get out their back four. They know they can get out our back four, and they have done over the last few years, particularly at Anfield, because they knew that there probably wasn't too much going the other way. Yeah. But we've got that in abundance now. I know we had Lacazette and Aubameyang last season, but we've got different people now. Like we've got runners from behind. Yeah. We've got someone that can bring the ball. Like whether Pepe will start or not, I don't know. But like 20 minutes from the end, when they're a little bit tired, somewhere along the line, what they've done over the last couple of weeks has got to catch up on Liverpool. Yeah. 20 minutes from the end, you got someone like him coming on.
Get the Jets on.
Yeah. I think, we've got that in our... It is key now that we, as you said earlier on, just to make sure we've got that solid midfield, solid defence, and just say to these guys...
We leave it to you to attack.
And no coaching or strategy, you just do what you want to do. As you said, flexibility, go
where you could hurt them most.
Yeah.
If you remember at Anfield last season, we scored first.
Yeah.
And we scored early, and it was like, wow, fantastic. But we weren't rigid enough. I don't think we protected the back four well enough. Obviously, there was mistakes.
We were still celebrating the goal when they equalised.
When they equalised, and that's been an issue with Arsenal. So again, if we could stiffen that midfield, I think we've got a chance. Right, the fifth thing I've learned, and this is probably going to be one of the most telling times for Arsenal, is the coach, Unai Emery. Finally, he's got some pieces that he really wanted. He's got some defenders, he's got midfield, and he's got the strikers. There's no more excuses now. You know, we are a stronger squad, we are a stronger team. So he has to deliver now.
Yeah.
You know, the scrutiny is going to be on him. And I think the narrative coming from Unai Emery, I mean, you see him, the way he celebrated that tackle from Willock on Shelvey. I think he's getting a lot more serious. He wants us to be a better defensive unit than we've been, because I think he's realised he gets the Premier League now. If you don't stiffen that defence up, you can't go and achieve what you want to achieve. What's your thoughts, Lee?
Well, I'm never going to question his passion. I think he's always shown that, even last season. Like, you know, I have to say that the run at the end of the season with those 8 league games has put doubts in my mind about him. I'll be honest. You know, I think that we should have got top 4 last season. But, as you said, learning curve, he's learned. He knows now not to mess about with team lineups and things like that. He's now under a little bit of pressure. And I think that's a good thing, like there's accountability. I don't think there was that with Arsene Wenger, and so there was mistakes were allowed to be made. I feel now, he's had a little bit of he's
had a grace period.
Yeah, he's had a grace period, so where he's been allowed to make a few mistakes. That's not going to happen this season. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's got, a massive game on Saturday, which will show where we are.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that, you know, people have turned around and said sticking up for him, and rightly so, that he's not had the tools. You know, people turn around and say, well, if he was a chef, he would have had this, he's got no sugar, he's got no this. Now all of a sudden he's got everything. He's got all of it now.
To make the cake.
To make the cake.
Yeah.
I want a little sort of cherry on the end of it, like, you know, on top of it. Because that was it. Top 4 is, I think, the least we can expect. I feel we should get top 4 this season. And it's not going to be easy, but I feel that we should get top 4. Maybe even aim for higher, because I think that's what we've got to do. You know what I mean? But I think with the tools that we've got, the players we've got, that front 3 up there is as good as anything.
Yeah.
Is as good as anything. So that should take us to a certain way. And if he can coach, as we said, the midfield and defence properly, then top 4 should be.
Especially away from home, as far as I'm concerned. I think because that's always been our Achilles heel, is away from home. Sometimes we've been blown away before the game's even really got going.
Well, exactly. You know, I mean, like Liverpool last season, you know, you could have gone home at half time. You know, I mean, honestly, you could have. It was that bad. And like, you know, we're going away from home and we're saying, well, we'll have a good weekend and up until the Arsenal kick-off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what it was like.
I remember you saying that last year, didn't you?
I had a great weekend and then Arsenal got involved. You know what I mean?
And
like, spoiled it. But like, they didn't at Newcastle, you know what I mean? We had a good weekend.
Clean sheet. Equalled the clean sheet.
But that's
record.
As an away fan, the away fans going up there, they're taking 1-0 every time.
Big time.
You know, and you look at Man City and you look at Liverpool, even Arsenal in their great day, the 91 championship winning side you was involved with. How many clean sheets, 1-0 away from home did you have?
Well, as soon as we took the lead, you knew it was over. It was shut up shop, and maybe then we can go on and win 2 or 3, but we made sure you got to close that back door.
Yeah, and the good teams do that, Kev. Good teams get 1-0 away from home, you know what I mean? And I ain't worried about, you know, performances as say, oh, it's a great performance. It's result-driven business. And like, you know, yes, I want us to perform and be all fancy down at home because that's where the main fans are. But away from home, I want us to go there, be rigid. I don't mind us defending and playing like Aston Villa did at Spurs a couple of weeks ago.
Defend deep.
And then we've got players that they haven't got that can go and expose and hurt other teams. And I'd like to see us do that more often.
Yeah.